So hey guys, welcome back to the second episode of the Allie and Maddie podcast. I'm Maddie.
I'm Allie. Nice to see you guys.
And thank you guys for coming back and joining us for another awesome episode. Allie, I'm pretty sure that was your line. I apologize.
That's okay. I'm a little bit off my game. But we found some old Allie and Maddie scripts from when we did our show at Riot Radio. Maddie dug them up. How did you find them?
Gmail. If I just went to my sent folder on Gmail and typed in Riot Radio, all of them came up. Hey.
Yes, I even tried that actually. I was like, I'm going to try that because I've just had the same email address as you have forever. Yeah. So I was like, it should be in there for sure. But
I think the difference was it was always supposed to be the same person who emailed them in. And I think I was that person.
Yes, so that's true.
They all came up and I was just reminiscing through them. It was a good throwback, let me tell you that.
That's awesome. Awesome.
While we were on Riot Radio, the difference in format, obviously it wasn't a podcast. And we were able to play a variety of musics in between topics. Here we won't be doing fancy music. I'm sorry. We're sorry. Just imagine
music. We haven't reached that level yet. It costs a little bit of money.
Yeah, we're poor right now in this podcast, but hopefully soon.
Watch us. Yeah, follow us.
Subscribe, follow, you name it, do that. And hopefully at some point in time, we'll be able to bring some music into this.
Exactly.
But just because there's no music doesn't mean that we're still not bringing you the best entertainment news out there in a podcast, or at least the most entertaining entertainment news update in a podcast.
Yeah, the most chat-worthy entertainment news.
Exactly. So with that in mind, I think we should just dive right into it. We thought we'd start things off going forward in our podcasts after some conversation of last week's first episode. And how do we streamline this? We're going to start off with rapid-fire headlines. So each week, we'll start the show with some of the hottest headlines that are in the news right now, and we'll include links for you to check out below. So first off, let's kick things off with, of course, the Naya Rivera from Glee story. So she had been reported missing earlier last week after taking a boat with her 4-year-old son out into a lake in California. And her body was discovered on July 13th, 7 years to the day of when her co-star from Glee, Corey Monteith, was found dead as well. Heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. Our thoughts and prayers go to her family.
Yeah, absolutely. Friends. She's one of my favorites. Canadian rapper Tory Lanez has allegedly shot female rapper Megan Thee Stallion. It was reported that the two were at a party on Sunday and they left together with one of Megan's friends. I guess there was an altercation. Police arrived on scene and escorted Megan to the hospital where she had the bullets removed. It's being reported that, like I said, that shots were fired after the two got into an altercation leaving a party. We don't know much else other that Tory hasn't been arrested at this time. I was reading a little bit further. They are saying out of his camp that possibly he's going to say that it was the accidental misfire. So,
right.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Everything's allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yes, alleged. In other news, Kelly Rowland is speaking out about what it was like living in the shadow of Beyonce. So Kelly Rowland, as you remember, was the second main member, I would say, of Destiny's Child. She was there through all the changes that happened throughout Destiny's Child's career.
The two OGs, her and Beyonce.
Two OGs, exactly. The singer admitted to The Voice Australia to sometimes feeling like she was living in the shadow of the superstar known as Beyonce, Queen Bee. She says that it affected her for almost a decade, and I can completely understand where she's coming from on that front when you have such a powerhouse that is Beyonce and everything she's accomplished and done and was always kind of put front and center in that band. So I can understand where she's coming from with that, and it's interesting that she's talking about it now.
Absolutely. Like, I think I mean, everybody's always speculated, but I mean, now that she's confirmed it. And speaking of speculating, we speculated that Kanye couldn't just run for president, and that proved to be true.
Who would have thought?
There's rules. They sometimes apply to people. I don't know. But rumor has it that it hasn't stopped him from trying. Sources close to him allege that he has attempted to get on the ballot as a third party to run against Mr. Biden and President Trump. However, this requires over 100,000 signatures. They also It could happen. I mean, and other sources are saying that the rapper is going through a bipolar episode and he should stabilize soon. Who knows anymore?
Mm, who knows? And lastly, in our rapid fire headlines, Dancing with the Stars is getting a shakeup. I don't watch the show myself, but I do know of the hosts, Aaron Andrews and Tom Bergeron. They've been a mainstay this entire time, but they are now out. They are leaving the show and are being replaced by one Miss Tyra Banks. Tyra will also be the executive producer of this upcoming season and plans to bring big changes to the show. I don't know what that would entail. Like, do you change any salsa to like the cha-cha? Like, I don't get it. I don't know. I don't know.
Tom go back to America's Home Videos because that's what I'm voting for.
I miss that show. I miss him on that show.
Or what was that one? Hollywood Squares.
Hollywood Squares. There's so many.
Man,
he's just
we're old.
he's just so lovable. I watch anything he's in. He's a great host, an absolutely great host. And all I can think of Tyra Banks is the meme of her yelling at that one America's Top Model contestant. Like, exactly. So is that what's going to happen on Dancing with the Stars? Now we were rooting for you to win.
I mean, like, it's serious. It's a different kind of serious. Like,
yeah. But those are your rapid fire headlines for this week. Like I said, every week now we're going to do our top 5 rapid story headlines. So stay tuned for those each week. If something comes up that you find that you think we should mention in our rapid fire, let us know in the comments when you're following us on Twitter or Facebook, on Instagram, anywhere. Let us know. We're totally wanting to hear what you think. And if we missed one that you think was a major headline of this week, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely let us know. We are now going to get down to the big news. The big news this week, what everybody was talking about. Free Britney. Hashtag Free Britney.
The resurgence.
The resurgence. This pops up I find it comes up every year, usually in the summer. When people are seemingly at home, not really doing a whole lot. As some of you are aware, 2007 was a really rough year for our lovely Britney. She had 2 babies back to back. She went through a divorce, and the world basically watched as she had her meltdown. It all kind of culminated with her shaving her head.
Umbrella to the paparazzi car.
Yeah, it was just a rough time. And I mean, like, there wasn't the social acceptance of mental health at that point. She was heavily mocked, heavily ridiculed. But let's just talk about how she was able to come back. And within months, she was starring on How I Met Your Mother. She went on a world tour. She did some Las Vegas residency. All of that being said, Britney was placed under conservatorship shortly after her meltdown and has been under one through all of this.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, a conservatorship is when a person is granted legal control over another person's finances and daily life due to the person being considered incompetent in a court of law. So in this case, it was her father, as Ali mentioned, that took over. Basically, he was her conservator. And that's where this really starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it's just there's so many levels to all of this, right?
So many.
So first and foremost, Britney has been has been under conservatorship for 13 years now. As I mentioned, she has done a Vegas residency. She's done a lot of things over the last few years, especially to prove that she is more than mentally stable.
Yeah. Yes. And, rumors have been swirling for years that she's been heavily controlled through a cocktail of heavy sedatives. And, watching her, I follow her on Instagram, but watching her post 2007 and just how she's in interviews and in what she's posting and that sort of thing, it doesn't seem like her anymore. If that makes sense. It just seems like a zombie kind of personality, just very like, okay, and now we're going to do this.
And she, like, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but like, there's been her face has changed. Like, there's a gap between her teeth, which anybody who knows Britney, her teeth have always been impeccable.
Yeah.
And now it seems to have developed a gap, which doesn't seem to be normal, which has started a whole bunch of conspiracy theories on their own.
Mhm.
But really, this boils down to a couple of things. What is going on in Britney's world? What is actually happening? Is she stable? Is what going on with her and what people are, the only person that's really echoing what these rumors are her mother, but she's been seemingly estranged for years.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't this all just really seems really wrong in the grand scheme of things. You know, again, like you said, first it seems like her mother's the only one echoing these concerns and amplifying or adding fuel to the fire of these rumors. Her father has been long rumored to be an alcoholic and have gambling issues. So is his big ticket item his daughter? You know, because as we know, Jamie Lynn Spears has started to kind of get back into the music thing, and she's on that show. What's it called? Steel Magnolias or something like that. The
I think
Magnolias
so.
on Netflix show. Um, but her career is nowhere near as huge as that of Britney Spears, and Britney is a money making machine.
Yeah, absolutely.
You had a few stats on how much she's made like every year or something like that.
Yeah,
It's crazy, and it's because of her star power. So it makes, you could understand why he would want to have as much control over her as possible, but how it's going about it, from the rumors anyways, because again, this is all alleged, don't seem to, the means don't just the outcome isn't justified by what he's doing. um,
exactly.
she's not Britney anymore to me. She's
I completely agree. She's not the lively, upbeat, like there's been so many reports of like her like contacting fans. Like I guess she did like a stint in like a facility. I don't know if it was like a rehab facility. There was reports that she even admitted herself that she had checked herself in or was doing something to take care of her dad, I believe.
yeah, yeah,
And
he got
that,
sick. Yeah,
yeah, and that kind of all caused the rumors to swirl again, and it's just so confusing because she doesn't have the capability to speak out on her own terms. And that's really what adds a unique dynamic to this, is that she can't speak out. She's not able to say anything, and she's not able to confirm or deny because everything is done and passed by through her dad.
yeah, and there was this conspiracy around um a video or something she posted on Instagram, or a photo where somebody wrote in the comments that if you need help, wear yellow in your next video. And in the next set of photos that she posted, she wore yellow.
Oh, really? I didn't see
Yes.
that.
Yes, that was from July 13th.
Okay.
So it's either she's subconsciously feeding into it just because it's more attention, if it's not true. But if it is true, then some like serious steps need to be taken into place, like need to take place here, and more attention needs to be given to her. And she should be able to have, she should, if she is under all this cocktail of heavy sedatives, she should be able to get cleaned out of them and have a
Absolutely.
proper conversation and say, this is what's going on. Because as is, under these, if these sedative cocktail sedatives are true, um she's not not just not interesting. She doesn't have a personality. She's not who Britney was when she first came out on the scene. She's not the Britney who, I don't know if you remember, Ali, her show Chaotic, when she was with Kevin Federline, that you saw an authentic Britney with
Yeah.
her like home videos, and you're like, okay, I get this.
Yeah.
Now in the world, and this is pre-Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, right? And now that she has her Instagram, it's complete night and day, and it's like, who are you, and what's happened?
In the first few years after the conservatorship started, she was still allowed. You saw her out and about more,
Yeah,
um, going to Starbucks and stuff like that, shopping at Target. Like she was doing things, but like it now seems that the more heavy the rumors become,
yeah,
the more locked down she becomes.
Yeah.
And it even, again, it culminated with her doing this residency, and
Yeah.
people are saying, hey, something's not right, something's going on. And immediately it was rumored that she was gaining her faculties and saying, hey, I don't want to live like this anymore. And they shut it all down.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, like the next hearing, again, depending on COVID and how that works in the state of California, in terms of if they're going to continue with the proper date, is August 22nd is the next date where they discuss her conservatorship in court, and hopefully more. I don't want more information to be released about Brittany and what she's going through and what mental health stuff she's dealing with, and I don't need to know the ins and outs of this poor woman's personal life, because if she doesn't want to air it herself,
It's not up to us.
It's not up to us. So I don't care about that sort of thing, but I want to make sure that she is, on August 22nd, if hopefully that court date does go on, that she is at the very least, safe, heard from. Like, her instincts and what she wants us to say is actually told versus a censored version, and that at the end of the day, it really is protecting her and not necessarily her earnings to help her father.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely makes sense. And that's what it really, that's what, for me, those are what my questions boiled down to. Is this a girl who's still in serious need of help, or is it a father who recognized that he lost his income and took advantage of his child when she was down, and is using her for financial gain?
And something I find really weird is that the father has conservatorship, not a joint conservatorship between him and the mother.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if it was an underage child and you were going for custody, which is essentially, like, in my eyes, it should be in Brittany's case, it should be viewed as essentially like a custody thing, because she is young. Her parents are both of sound mind. Or even a lawyer, like a third party lawyer, like
somebody who doesn't have a vested interest in making money off this poor girl.
Yeah. Because I mean, just a whole bunch of, it's sad. It's really sad. I mean, you've watched essentially the light drain from her eyes over the last few years.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. It's heartbreaking. I mean, what do you and I want to help, and it's blink twice if you're okay.
Or wear yellow. In this case, wear yellow in your next photos. And
it's just that's what we're down to now. Well,
I'm sure, Allie, you're going to say the same thing. Let us know what you guys think. Follow up. Tell us on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Wow, my day job's coming in now. Tell us on Facebook, Twitter, on Instagram. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, we want to know. We really want to know, because I mean, people say they don't pay attention to this stuff, but they do. They do.
Yeah.
Garrett used to ask me all the time. He's like, "How do you know all this stuff about the Kardashians?" And I was like, I don't want to talk about it.
How do you not know all the things that go with the Kardashians?
Yeah, it's called keeping up with them for a reason.
Yeah. And no matter what, you keep up with them.
I just watch it because I love Scott. He's the king of my heart.
Yes. Agreed. And Chloe.
My favorite thing was when they did the episode.
Side note.
We're going off on a tangent here. My favorite thing is when they did the Caitlyn thing, when they were covering that whole situation, and he was like, I really thought when Bruce was going through his thing that he was upset with me and maybe I had done something wrong. He's like, but then I realized that I'm absolutely perfect and it's everyone else who has a problem.
A little lighthearted note there.
I'm gonna share it. I have it buried deep somewhere on my Instagram. I'll save it and I'll share it on our Instagram.
Okay, so going from one kind of heavy topic to the next interesting, heavy, I don't know how we're going to go.
This is another thing that has been talked about for a long time, but never confirmed.
Until now, really. So we're going to talk about Will and Jada Smith.
Yeah.
And
So
so, Ali, do you want to kick this off? Because you were really passionate about this.
okay, so I'm passionate about this for multiple reasons. I love Will Smith. He's a good man. Um, he's
End of story. He's a good man for multiple reasons.
end of story. He's just a good guy.
End of story. As I pop out my headphone out of like chest. It is. It's done. Game over. I'm out. Sorry, everybody.
So we decide like I love Will. I grew up watching Fresh Prince. Will is the man. He's always been like that good dad, that good guy. You never see anybody say anything bad about him.
Yeah.
And then I remember walking through the grocery store when I was in high school and seeing things like Jada cheats on Will. And I was like, no way. And then I remember them explicitly a few years ago coming out and having a joint statement saying, we're together. Like, this is all nonsense.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. Now, fast forward to present day, and Jada brings herself to the red table, which is yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if you don't know what the Red Table is, it's her show that she has on. Is it just a Facebook show? Is that what, it's a Facebook show?
Yeah,
never thought I'd say those words. It's a Facebook show where she has candid conversations with a bunch of different people around very timely topics.
Most notably the Khloe Kardashian, Jordan Woods.
Oh, that was an interesting one. Yeah,
whole saga, which conversation for another day.
Yeah. But this is her show that she is the host of, and she hosts from her house. And she, as Alice said, she brought herself to the table with Will, Big Willie. Big Willie style. I still have that on CD.
I'm not gonna lie, I listen to 90s on 9 on satellite radio all the time, and when it comes on, I pump it. I'm like, yeah, scared. I'm very embarrassed. So basically, what happened was a few weeks ago, August,
Azalina. I apologize for butchering this last name.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. August, which is beautiful. I like August, so that works for me. Jada, I don't know August, but I like the name. So like, anyway, Will, August came out. What would you say? Like 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago?
About 2.5 weeks ago. Yeah, around that time.
Yeah, claiming that he had an extended affair with Jada, basically with Will's blessing. Jada at the table never
called it an entanglement. She talked about how they had been friends for years, really close friends, and
like the whole family was friends.
Yeah. And then they both acknowledged that they thought their marriage was over, and they separated. They were going their separate ways, giving themselves time, but they both legitimately thought that it was over.
Yeah.
And in that time, so all that comes to mind is Ross Geller from Friends saying, "We were on a break." All that comes to mind. But they were separated.
Yeah.
And during that time, that close friendship that Jada had with August built into, as she put it, an entanglement. And during this this talk, Will's trying to get it out of her to say say it was an affair.
Yeah, say it was for what it was. Yeah. Like, okay. And I would like to point out, I'm just doing a quick Google search. Jada Smith is 48 years old. August is, holy moly, 27.
Well played.
I mean, like, I'm not going to be that person because I'm a big advocate of the fact that, like, if the tables were turned, people would be very angry.
Yeah, no, I don't see anything wrong with
the relationship.
I think so. If you watch this video, and we'll link to it when we post this elsewhere and on our socials as well. When you watch this video, you can. Jada's playing it off like it wasn't as serious as it was. And Will and Ali, tell me if you think differently, because you know you've watched it as well. Will comes off as it was serious. It was more serious than you're giving light to. And there seems to be a lot of tension in him wanting to say the words, it was an affair, versus it
Absolutely.
was an entanglement. Because he keeps saying, call it what it was. And she goes, I called it an entanglement. And he's like, call it what it was.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like from an editing and television behind the scenes aspect, I feel like there was a lot of heavy editing put into it. And this is just my opinion as somebody who does this for a living. A lot of cuts, hard cuts of Will, like just him being like, okay, yeah. And that generally seems to be the case from an editing perspective when you don't have a lot to work with.
I think because she didn't say, because I watched it, and during that time, the part of that, I think it's 12 minutes, the part where she talks about it being an entanglement, that's when I think he just shuts down and he's like, unless you're going to say what it is, it's not going to be the thing. But after that, I just think it was a bit awkward. I don't think it was that they were necessarily arguing. I know, Ali, you and I had a conversation offline being like, they were probably yelling at each other the whole damn time.
Yep.
It wasn't. I don't think so. I think from what I heard, so again, this affair or entanglement, as Jada liked to put it, happened 4 years ago. 4 years
Yeah.
ago. So the fact that August came out recently, within the last month, that covers the timeline, Hallie. Within the last month.
Yeah. Now this is where I have questions. Is it started 4 years ago, but when did it end? And did it end a month ago?
No, it started and ended around 4 years ago is what came out of that. I don't know if you heard that part, but that's why Will said it happened 4 years ago. Why is he coming out now and saying all this? Because they've gone through the hard stuff. They've gone through the reconciliation. They've gone through the commitment and said, listen, what's done is done. We're moving forward. We're going to be stronger and better than ever. And now you have August being like, I tapped that.
Yeah, it's just like it's. I mean, it's Jada, but don't.
I know you don't like her. I know.
I
I know.
just not. It's not even that I don't like her. I just like I don't get all the hype, and I
I what I thought interesting is kudos for them to come forward and even acknowledge the conversation that was happening, because again, as Will stated, it happened 4 years ago, and as Jada then reiterated, it happened 4 years ago. And the fact that it's all coming to light now, it's, water under the bridge for this couple. And if their marriage is stronger and better than ever now following what happened, they don't really need to comment on it.
Yeah.
But they chose to, and kudos to them for that, because it's what happens in their bedroom and in their private lives really has nothing to do with any of us, says the girl who's on a show about entertainment. And we live for this sort of thing. But realistically, they didn't have to say anything. It could have just been a he said, she said, and she doesn't want to talk about it.
Absolutely. And you know what? Like the thing I commend them about doing is that I think in the world right now, people are expected to maintain this image, right? You've got social media, you've got all this stuff that it's like, okay, this is what your life is supposed to look like, and if you're not portraying that, then you're not doing things right, or you're not living the way that you're supposed to. And as somebody who my relationship has not always been perfect, as you are well aware. And we've had to overcome a lot of struggles. It's admirable. I admire them for being able to come out and talk about this topic that, like, believe it or not, happens to couples. But to come out publicly and sit in front of millions of people and be like,
in front of your husband,
and y'all can laugh.
What was it? He said something at the end that I was like in tears laughing about, like, we have a bad marriage. Ha 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 ha. Do you remember? Oh, darn it. I can't remember.
I can't remember exactly what he said, but I mean, like,
they made a joke out of it. Basically, like, listen, like, it happened. We've moved on, and our marriage isn't perfect. We don't know what a perfect marriage is, but we're doing what works for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like, anybody who can look at them in a relationship and it can honestly say they've never made a mistake, even not even a mistake that big, but like never made a mistake in a relationship, or like,
if you think you haven't made a mistake in any relationship you've had, and you are no longer with those people, you've made mistakes.
yeah, you know what I mean?
Like, unless you found this one person and you've been with them ever since, then you've maybe never made any mistakes. Maybe. But I strongly doubt that.
Like, kudos to you. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I
Feel
mean, there's
free
a
to throw stones in this glass house then.
right. Like, I mean, like, there's a reason my Facebook biography profile says I was born good, but had grown progressively worse every year.
But to your point at the very beginning of this portion, Ali, when you said, he's an amazing man. During one of her Red Table talks, she did a whole thing on for Father's Day with Will. It was the first time they actually sat down face to face to have this type of conversation on her show. And it was on the red couch this time.
Yeah.
And it apparently was like the first time on the red couch.
May I say, he was wearing a really comfy looking suit, a
Oh,
jogging
the
suit.
entire outfit. I was just like, sir, that is how you do an interview. You look damn comfy in your own house. Because that was the other thing. He was also late in his own house.
Yes, I know. I love that. Like, it was a typical wife moment where, like, she was like, we have something to do, and he was MIA.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably in the shit out the back doing something.
Yeah, but that was like 42 minutes worth of literally, this is how you became this amazing man. And he acknowledges his ups and downs as a father, and the downs are still incredible learning moments. And the fact that he learned from them, and he grew and became a better father and a better man and a better human. The man is, he's very respectable, very admirable, very
he had me in tears when he was talking about each of his children, individually, and raising them and parenting them individually. And the part where then they're talking about Jaden doing Karate Kid, and oh man, and Jada's talking and you can see her getting angry, right? And then they shoot to that picture of her, that footage of her like holding him actually on set, and I was like, that's a mad mom right there. Like, that is not a happy mama. And I'm crying because I'm thinking, there's no way in hell. There's no way that I will let my child do that.
And for that same thing, to hear that, like, okay, so you're doing a movie with one son in Beijing. Your other son has Friday night games. He plays football. His oldest son, Trey, had football games. They flew back every week for 10 weeks to make sure they attended the games. And I was like, okay, you got the money to do so. Good for you.
Yeah.
But the fact that he made sure that he took the time and he made that effort to be at the games because he authentically wanted to be there.
Yep,
not because he was just a dad and I have to go to his game.
Yep.
That just speaks volumes. And there are so many dads out there who miss that point to authentically be there for their children, not just be there because they're the dad.
Absolutely.
I absolutely loved it. And I love him. And, however we may feel about Jada and him, they want to make it work. They're making it work. Again, this happened 4 years ago. They're making it work. They acknowledge what happened. They've come out of it the other side stronger, better than ever. And if that makes him happy,
then that's what works for them.
That works for them.
What's right for some is not right for all.
Exactly.
And I've learned that firsthand. Feelings are feelings.
Exactly. And again, kudos to Jada for having the guts to do that. She didn't have to. So kudos to her. And I know right now you're cringing inside and you're like,
no, and I 100% agree with you. She didn't have to. I mean, like, on some degrees, I feel like there was some gloating and like in your face. I mean, but that's
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't agree with that, especially when, like, a few weeks prior, you did a whole 42-minute video praising the man about what a great father he is, and then you're now tearing him down.
But she also tore herself down a bit because there was a thing in a part in there where she says something along the lines of, "I saw the ugly within me, but I also saw the beauty." So it sounds like, and because she had all these issues and struggles from when she was younger, brought in, it came across, at least to me, sounding like she never had the confidence and the ability and the understanding and feeling that she could properly be loved, and Will gave her that love and she didn't know what to do with it.
Absolutely. I would agree with that.
And I think that separation, showed her what that type of love actually was, and that's exactly what she needed, and she needed to be open to it. And
Yep.
how the ugly was perhaps her pushing that away and thinking that wasn't what she wanted, and the beauty was not just within her but also with what he was providing her.
Yep,
So
I can agree with that. I
mhm.
can see that. I mean, let us know what you guys think. Again,
Yeah,
like we want to hear from you guys. We want to know what you think. We want to hear what your opinions are. I mean, this is something that a lot of people have a lot of different opinions on. Um, Everybody has a different experience within their relationships. So again, what's right for some is not right for others. So let us know what you think. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, not on Twitter yet, but I'm working on
oh, I
that.
thought we were.
That's
Ah,
the one that
ignore
I
me
have to
every
do.
time I said Twitter. Ignore
Oh
me every
yeah,
time I
the
said
North
Twitter.
Twitter will have it, but I'll post a tumble. I'll make sure we make a big deal of an announcement. We have Twitter because I love Twitter and I use it all the time. So
I
I'm
know.
wishing. But we have Facebook, we have Instagram, and we are on Twitch. I can even include our email if you don't want to be if you want to just write us a novel because I'll
I
read it.
like novels. I like reading novels. Send me
Yeah,
novels.
yeah.
Send
Send us.
me novels.
Yeah, yeah. Send me a novel. I love to read them.
Love it.
My full time job. I do entertainment.
So let us know what you guys think. But I think now we're gonna kind of start to wrap things up a little bit with binge worthy shows.
Binge worthy shows.
So we're all in different, depending on where you are, we're all in different levels of self isolation, different phases, and everything opening up. And streaming services like, if you're in Canada, Crave, Netflix, Amazon Prime. You know, if you're in the States, you get Hulu, you lucky bastards.
Disney Plus. Did we mention Disney Plus?
Disney Plus, Hamilton and Simpsons binging over here. You know, there are so many amazing shows that are available to us now, and we, for the most part, have the time to watch them. We're not commuting. You know, when your day is done at work, you can literally change your screen on your computer, go downstairs and watch what you want to watch. So we thought we'd kind of touch on some of the shows that we're binge watching right now.
Yep.
So Ali, I'm gonna let you take the lead. What are you binge watching?
You got me hooked on Canada's Drag Race. I didn't watch the new episode yet because I 100% fell asleep with Ava on the couch. But
Understandable.
I'm gonna watch it tonight, and I'm gonna make heavy notes. I am in love, Matisse. You have me. Starzy is the queen of my heart. I'm disappointed that Juicebox was voted off the first episode, but Kindness gone, so let's all rejoice. She just had a bad attitude.
That's the thing. She had such a bad attitude. And when you first met her, she seemed like, okay, I can maybe get behind her because she seemed a little quirky. And then the attitude came out, and I was like, no, I'm sorry, you've lost me. Unlike Lemon, who is an absolute sweetheart, and I just want to hug her. I love her to death.
Was great. Jimbo cracks me up. Makes me uncomfortable on 100 different levels, but it's more because it's this horror theme. I don't like scary shit. So, but Jimbo, I hope Jimbo wins this just because it's weird and I love it.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, but besides that, I just blew through Down to Earth with Zac Efron. Oh, Zach.
Oh, Zach.
Oh, Zach.
I saw a meme somewhere where it said, thank you to Zac Efron for being the man of my dreams at 16 and still the man of my dreams at 26 and growing up with me to like match the men that I I laughed so hard.
I never watched High School Musical ever. Never watched it. Never was into it. I was like, no, I'm like too cool for this. But became a Zac Efron fan when he did 17 again.
Oh, yeah.
Thought that was great. Charlie St. Cloud made me cry my eyes out. I think Zac Efron is a highly underrated actor. People can come at me. I don't care. But he has taken a step back from the Hollywood life and has decided to get down to earth. And look at me. And I really enjoyed it. As everybody's aware, the earth is not in a good spot. And Zach wants to make us realize how the earth can be more sustainable, and he does it shirtless.
Okay, so you're drooling over Zac Efron over there. I've got you addicted to Canada's Drag Race. On my end, obviously Canada's Drag Race, RuPaul's Drag Race, The All Star season 5 coming to an end in a couple of episodes. Binge watching that every time it's up. Yes. As a drag race fanatic, the fact that I have 2 kind of going at the same time is amazing on so many levels. Allie, I've already told you need to catch up on 12 seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race, just general, and then 5 seasons really of All Stars. So you got a lot to catch up on. Yeah. Aside from that, I have so I've been watching The Simpsons from scratch, just kind of in the background, and it's been really great to catch all the nuanced jokes that were meant for adults now. Because I started laughing, I'm like, I don't remember that as a kid, or like I remember thinking it meant something completely different, and now I'm just like, oh goodness. As a child, I did not understand what that meant.
I laugh all the time, constantly. I remember laughing at jokes that my dad would laugh at, and now I remember I hear them now, and same thing. I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. And
now I know why he was laughing.
Yeah, people don't realize how much Simpsons references popular culture, books, plays, other television, movies, like almost scene for scene. Like it's truly incredible what they do, and it's so much more intelligent than people give it credit for.
Yeah. I think because it's now competing really with the Family Guy, like the Family Guy type episodes, which are even more out there. Yeah, Maggie doesn't speak, Stewie speaks, so that's another whole dimension, and he's an evil genius, and I
lump. Okay, so like for me, I put The Simpsons and South Park in one category of like intelligent, raunchy humor. Trey Parker and Matt Stone are impeccable, as always. But I mean, nothing against Seth MacFarlane. I'm sure, again, people feel free to publicly attack me on. I'll defend myself till the end of the day. I'm sure Seth MacFarlane is a wonderful person. I just don't like his sense of humor, and I find
you and I differ on that, but I understand where I can completely understand where people feel that way, why they feel that way.
I'm not very like not to say that it's because it can be a very dry humor, but I find that you can make inappropriate dry jokes without stooping to the level that he sometimes stooped to. And that's not to say I thoroughly enjoy American Dad sometimes.
I prefer American Dad to Family Guy.
It's offensive. It's
ridiculous, but again, it's allowed to be ridiculous because there's an alien in the show.
Right, and I feel like as long as you acknowledge the fact that what you are doing is offensive, but it's purposeful, and you're in your acknowledgement, and you're like, I'm just trying to point a mirror at what the world is like. And like, I think that's why people, again, going back to Simpsons and Matt Groening, like, I always have the debate with Garrett that I don't, or anybody that likes Matt Groening, is Futurama or The Simpsons. And like, for me, I think sometimes I'm a bigger Futurama fan than I am a Simpsons fan, only because it's so ahead of its time, even now when you're watching it. The tunes are great.
So with that said, this is kind of what we're binging, and I'm sure there's other shows. We just don't want to acknowledge how many shows we're binging on.
Right? I mean, can I just add one more too? I'm gonna add. It's in the kid category again, but it's not a kid show. It is. I let my daughter watch it. People may say what they want to say after they watch it, but it is called Cupcake and Dino, and it is one of those shows that you watched as a kid that now you're going to rewatch as an adult and be like, I should not have watched this. I put it on, and like I will quote a whole episode while it's playing. It is like line after line funny. It's it's literally a cupcake and a dinosaur. So
amazing. Recommend. But tell us what you guys are watching. What are you binging? Tell us on Instagram, on Facebook, not Twitter just yet, but we'll make a big deal when you can tell us on Twitter. Or send us an email. We want to hear from you. What are you binging? What are you watching? What are we missing in our viewing prowess?
We are Allie, Facebook.com/Allie and Maddie. Yeah, we got that. And our email is alliemaddipodcast@gmail.com. I will include all of the links below when we throw it up on Facebook and on Twitch. Yeah, this has been a good week for stuff. We had a great rehearsal. We should mention that we had a great offline rehearsal at the beginning of the week. And we've got some stuff that didn't make it to this episode, but
we got a lot to talk about. Like, there's always lots going on. So make sure you tune in next week, see what we're chatting about. We'll be touching on the Amber Heard Johnny Depp situation and the new updates on that. We'll have our rapid fire headlines and a few more stories. So make sure you come back and check us out, because we want you to be here. We want you to chat with us.
We love you guys. We're so excited to be doing this. And on Monday again. And if you want to join us for a live viewing party on Facebook, we will be there with you guys. Thanks for joining us again.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.